Hello everyone and welcome back to the Railway Shed. And now I'm back from Florida, it's time to get on with some more locomotive reviews, something that hasn't been done too much on this channel recently. So today, to start off this new series of reviews, we will be reviewing the Rapido Trains UK Alfred and Judy Deluxe Train Pack. I bought this train pack at the Bluebell Railway's model shop earlier this year at the New Year's Steam Up event. I believe I got it for £252, which is alright considering you get two locomotives. So without any further ado, let's take a look at the box for this wonderful train pack. Here is the box for the train pack. You can see a lovely illustration of the two locomotives with a nice logo above it and the Rapido Trains UK logo beneath. Here is the side of the box where you can see how much I paid for it, as well as the catalogue tag. This one being the Port of Par twins in lined bright green as preserved in DC/silent mode, which is the same sort of thing on the other side of the packaging. Now let's unbox this train pack. Firstly, you remove the plastic casing, which keeps the box nice and fresh without any blemishes on the lovely artwork, as you can see here. Then of course off comes the lid of the box. Inside you'll find some documents. Firstly, you have the manual for the 040ST's Bagnalls, which are of course in this train pack. A specialised postcard with a specialised illustration of the two locomotives within this train pack. And a lovely book about Alfred and Judy, demonstrating their history, where they worked, and how they influenced the characters of Bill and Ben in the Railway series by Reverend W. Awdry. Under that you have some more protective foam, and through there you have the two locomotives in their ice cube style packaging, which of course keeps them safe. If you look up here you can see there's a separate detail bag for each engine, which has things like brake pipes, separate number plates, and the doors to go on the cabs. I've not applied any of these to my models as of yet. Taking the locomotives out of the foam tray is relatively easy. I'd recommend squishing the foam down with your two fingers and lifting them out as so. As you can see, they're very well protected. So let's take a closer look at the detail of these locomotives. And here we are down in my new lightbox setup, which is the first time you're seeing this on the channel, with Alfred in lovely detail, might I say. The livery on this locomotive is fantastically applied, and there's so much detail, being that it's such a small model. Even at such a small size, you can see so much detail on this locomotive. For example, the printing of the livery is absolutely exquisite, with everything looking majorly crisp. You've got the decals of the nameplate and then the port plate on top of the saddle tank of the locomotive, looking very nice. You also have under the bunker the location where the builder's plate would go. Further down you can see painted brass detailing, which I believe is plastic but looks very realistic. And then on the valve gear as well, while it's plastic, it still looks quite good, painted in like this metal finish. You can see such a short wheelbase as well, so it'll be interesting to see how this locomotive runs. Moving around, we have the back of the locomotive. As you can see, it's got a fully detailed cab, which is amazing for this. The regulator being painted out in the red and the water glasses, as well as the handbrake. You can also see, if I move it forward slightly, the separately fitted glass sort of detailing within the back. Of course you can see that I've got both sides with the NEM couplings fitted. The buffers are sprung, which is an amazing feature on such a small locomotive. Moving round to the other side, it's much the same in terms of detailing, but you can see the lovely copper detailing of the whistle and the safety valve, which looks very nice. And then on top you can see the funnel and the water tank. Moving round to the front, you can see the porta-par decals above the smoke box, which has lovely separately fitted rivets about it. You can also see the piston covers under the buffers, which is a lovely detail, and it also has the sprung buffers on the front. So overall detail wise, this is an absolutely exquisite locomotive. I mean, you'd expect so for the price, but I have so many models far less detailed than this, and this is genuinely a lovely little locomotive. So next, let's take a look at Judy. In many ways, Judy is much the same as Alfred, but a few small details. If you can see on the bunker right here, this side is flat on Judy, whereas it's rounded on Alfred. I think Judy was the later built of the two locomotives. Again, you can see the absolutely exquisite detail and marking where the builder's plate would be, as well as the lovely motion and valve gear. You have the same lovely painted detail in the cab, with the regulator and handbrake being out in the red. Again, sprung buffers and the lovely glazing detailing. On the other side, it's much the same as well. A notable difference with Judy is that it doesn't have the port emblem on the side tanks. Again, you can see the brass fittings, which are very nice. And on the front again, it's much the same, with the port of part detailing and the rivets, which is very nice. So without any further ado, let's see how these locomotives perform. An annoying detail I've just found with my model of Judy is that it's missing a coal load in its right hand side bunker. This isn't too big of an issue, as you'll barely see it anyway, but it's a shame that it's missing, and I don't really know how this has happened. Okay, so here we have Alfred and Judy down on the track, and before we get started with the running quality of these locomotives, I'd just like to show you the scale of these locomotives compared with some of the other engines in my collection. Here is Alfred compared to the J94, compared with a Bachmann Thomas, and compared with an older tooling Hornby Terrier. As you can see, these little locomotives definitely have a diminutive size compared with other locomotives, and small locomotives as that, on my railway. And so, here is Alfred down on the track. Let's test its performance. For this test, I'm using a Hornby HM2000 controller, and without any further ado, let's begin. Firstly, at a crawl. Oh, and it's already stalled. I have recently cleaned my track, so it should be relatively smooth, if not a little bit noisy, but I'm sure that will improve within running in. Let's see how slow we can get it, being at such a small wheelbase. Not too slow. It's quite loud as well, but I'm sure it will sort of silence itself. Another cool feature of these locomotives is that they are, I believe, they're pre-fitted with speakers. So if I ever want to chip them for DCC and make them sound, then that is a very easy possibility. Next up, we will have Judy running. Again on the same controller. And preferably in forwards. I believe Judy is running slightly better than Alfred. Or not. mean, considering they have such small wheelbases, these do run very well. Like my Rapido J70, which is a similar size, I'd say, to these models, and is a 6-couple tank engine, runs, I would say, about the same quality and is an older model. So I'm very impressed with how these perform. And I'm sure they'd run better on DCC. So overall, these two little engines are amazing little runners and spectacularly detailed. The only complaint I would say is with that issue of the coal load in Judy's bunker. But other than that, they're lovely little models that I'd highly recommend, especially if you're a Thomas fan and a fan of Bill and Ben, because how can you dislike them? Thank you very much for watching this review. It's definitely been a different one to film with the new techniques such as my new tripod, the light box that you can see here, and this microphone. And if you want more reviews to come on the channel, which I'm more than happy to make, please let me know down below. I've got so many models that I can review. So thank you for watching, and I'll leave you with some running footage of Alfred and Judy on my layout. Thank you.